if you bet that every footballer will wear boots, one will not wear boots. Like it's something will happen.
Do 2 odds,
before all
3 odds, whatever odds.
Of course, 1 to 90.
Which one
that's
is
what
that
we're talking about. That's why I said I don't understand.
What's the
go to
balls?
Lotto
How they
kiosk.
do the permanent? I don't understand. Still
Go.
date, I
Is it
don't
the one with the balls?
Yes.
Okay.
The one with the balls, right? That somebody will press a key.
Yeah.
And then one ball drops, and that is one number up to 5.
Yeah.
So 5 winning numbers.
Yeah.
And then there are machine numbers.
Yeah.
And
when I was a child, I thought the machine like machine school, they could offer you something.
No.
That one they just
Yes. Yeah, but you see, they use the machine numbers to do the permutations, right? To do the permutations and then
the
the
machine
forecast.
has 90
You know, we
balls.
have Lotto forecasters.
forecast.
Yeah, there are people who work.
Yeah, that's the point.
Lotto. Yeah.
They work using the machine numbers
Yeah.
and matching them against the winning numbers, right? And they can project what numbers will come next week. Charlie,
I think an app-
people have work.
I think an app developer should make that up. So
Yes,
that people don't
yes,
waste their
because
time. Yeah, just-
because you actually buy the Lotto paper.
yeah, the old ones.
You buy the Lotto paper with the numbers.
In 75.
And then, yes.
These days, this
Yes.
is what happens. It's
And
like
then you circle. And you are convinced that history might repeat itself.
There's a certain image that is playing in my mind right now. You see, the man seated under a tree.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the spectacles hanging on his
Yeah.
nose.
Yeah.
With a pen and paper.
And those
Exactly.
people are really respected in the
Seriously
community.
working the Lotto.
If you don't take care, you think he's reading the newspapers.
But
no,
why
he's
is
He
the
doesn't
Lotto
have
doctor
time.
not rich?
It's a good
not.
Samaritan. That's all.
It doesn't. He's made to help others.
Today you have to play that song. That song that they beat pam pam
They be-
pam
they
pam.
be-
banana.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to play that.
You see a piece can see a bread.
Who is the artist of that song?
That would be Amachi
Is
Dede.
that Amachi Dede, right?
That's Amachi Dede.
Amachi Dede.
Yeah, that's
I'll
Amachi
look
Dede.
for that song again.
Today,
But yes,
today,
but yes, yesterday the finance minister was in Parliament.
He was not working Lotto.
He was not working Lotto. Was there anything new? Because I felt like what the finance minister said in Parliament yesterday really are things that we already know of.
Yes.
Or was there anything new?
Okay, so
I mean, apart from the fact that, I heard that road tolls, he mentioned that road tolls
the
are going
vice
to come
president
back.
had mentioned it.
But the vice president had already mentioned it,
Yeah.
so he came and rehashed it.
Yeah.
What else? He
Okay.
announced
property
cuts
tax.
in expenditure, right?
Oh yeah, but I told you that.
Yeah.
That is because we budgeted to spend A, and spending A was premised on our ability to raise the A. And raising the A will have meant that we're going to borrow some and then some bilateral donors and what have you. Those donors are no longer giving us those concessionary loans because the loans they gave us in the past, we went back to beg them to give them haircut. You get that? So we've saved close to more than $3 billion because of the debt restructuring. And those monies that we are calling savings are somebody's tears.
Of course.
You get it? Somebody's tears.
It's revenue loss for somebody.
Exactly. So then if we're unable to raise how much the appropriation bill gave us to spend, the prudent thing to do is to scale back on how much we envisage we're going to spend. So that's what has been done. And so government obviously is cutting expenditure. The specificity is what we don't have. So which area will be affected? I would have wished that we got those areas that government machinery, we are cutting expenditure by say 30%, 40%. Then we know that usually government machinery expenditure doesn't go into the brick and mortar. It's the soft expenditure, the wages, the remuneration, the allowances, the fueling, the buying of vehicles. You get it? All the offices under the office of government, from the AIDS Commission to what have you, right?
Yeah.
That's basically it. But then, it's good news. And then property tax.
Yeah, property tax.
The World Bank had told us that is the way to go. If we wanted to show up our revenue mobilization locally, property tax. But guess who would have been affected the most? The ruling class. And so they didn't pay attention to it. See, if you look at some of the properties located in Accra, every year people should be paying not less than 200,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Not less.
Because the properties are very prime,
Exactly.
very good property.
Yes.
Yeah.
But because it will affect they themselves, they didn't pay much attention to it. But kudos. Now we are going to pay attention to it. Yeah. So basically, these are the only new things.
And after the mid-year budget presentation, guess what is trending on X? Cancel e-levy.
Cancel e-levy is
Cancel
trending.
e-levy.
Cancel e-levy is trending.
The minority had indicated because it wouldn't have been that difficult, right? Because the flag bearer of the party says he will
take
cancel
after
it.
6 months. E-levy won't be in our laws.
Yes. So it would have even been politically prudent for Akufo-Addo's government to say that because the party's flag bearer says he will do away with it. Let's just kick the ball.
That would be robbing Bawumia of any. That is if he wins the election of that achievement.
See, the opposition had said this first. So trust me, if you are looking at the political currency, right, it will rather play to the advantage of the opposition than you. But if you start it, then the refrain will be that, okay, you have started it. So what is there for the opposition to do? You get it? E-levy is no longer in existence, so it's not on the table anymore. Now it is on the table.
So, for a government that is cutting expenditure, the government will want to at least the next 6 months keep taking e-levy to ensure that it is not cash trap.
Yeah, but you've forgotten that we are not going to start paying loans because we're budgeted to pay some loans, right? And we've been able to do some debt restructuring.
Yeah.
So that means that between now and I think 2026 or 2028 or so, we are not going to be paying certain loans, right? Or certain interest payment on certain loans. We are not going to be paying. So that is more money that the government will retain because it had been budgeted to have been used or to be used to pay loans. But we are not going to use it to pay the loan again. So we are making some savings there. So that is all money that will all money that will go to government.
It still doesn't mean you never pay the loan.
No.
Yeah. So I mean we've deferred the payment of the loan.
But the question you should be asking is, had government been able to find the money to make the payment?
If you don't find money,
if government had found the money to make the payment, then not paying will mean that you are saving. If government had not, of which we know government had not.
But the government had budgeted to plan to pay it.
You budget based on inflows.
Exactly. So the inflows that would have come.
Exactly.
That don't come to pay it. We need to see what they are going to use that to for. We need to see what they are going to use that
but of course, like I said, it shouldn't be like the HIPIC money that we use in constructing renals and whatever.
HIPIC benefits. I mean,
my school, we had
a HIPIC benefit.
The HIPIC block.
Block is okay. But HIPIC benefit renal, whenever you go to Kumasi,
I remember
now they've increased prices 25%. So I think it's a good venture.
Prices for what? Public toilet facilities.
No, we say toilet don't have facilities. What comes out of you is not the toilet is a facility.
It's too early.
What comes out of you is become matter. How can you say toilet facility?
No, it's toilet facility because you know, I mean, there are bathrooms there.
I get you.
Toilet is a facility. You say toilet.
Please, it's too early.
No, but you see, because we've given it that negative stigmatization.
No, but it's like
that is a construction. The building itself is a toilet.
I get you. It's like linking the brand, linking the brand to the product. You get it. So allow us to link the brand to the product.
We'll say KVIP. I mean, you used to travel across the country and you see, you know, one there and then it's written HIPIC benefits. Even up till now, you know. Some are still there. But yesterday, one is still there. But yesterday also in Parliament, we were expecting the finance minister to have started delivering the budget by 10 a.m. That's when he was scheduled to come.
Yeah.
That's when proceedings were scheduled to start. And it didn't start until almost 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Or a little after 2 p.m., if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's because he decided not to pay the
common fund.
Yeah.
And so what was happening there? What were the minority members of parliament doing? Because we understand they were the ones who were holding.
I don't even want to link it to the minority.
No, but you see, they were not in the chamber.
I'm coming. Hold on.
They were
in the chamber initially, like our father. They were in the chamber initially.
And so what?
Then they filed out, right? And then the majority caucus then filed in. When you hear Choboi, right, in Parliament, when you hear Choboi, many a times it should be coming from the minority. But the yay that you hear, right, is coming from the majority. What do I mean by this? Whatever crusade you hear the minority launch by way of statutory payment, right? Those behind are the majority.
Yeah, of course. It's their government in power.
Because when you talk about this Assembly Common Fund, of which 5% goes to members of parliament, it's not just the minority members of parliament.
Everybody.
And the arrears are for 4 quarters from last year throughout this year.
And everybody has not got it.
And mind you, these MPs are fighting to return to parliament.
Yes.
And you need to undertake project. Soft project, hard project. This is the only fund they have. Of course, you can add the National Health Insurance Fund small, that they have a percentage in there as well. So, it is a battle for survival for the members of parliament. So, they had insisted that commitment must come from the minister that those payments will be made, statutory payments, right? It dragged on. In fact, the day before yesterday, there was a meeting, but what's the name? They call it Committee of the Whole Meeting, with the Common Fund Administrator, Nato Siado. The finance minister was supposed to be there. He didn't. He didn't come. And that was what set the tone for what happened yesterday.
Because
yes.
if he doesn't release money, there's little the Common Fund Administrator can
exactly.
do. Yeah. There's
exactly.
very little.
Yesterday too, the minister was expected in parliament early enough to engage in these kind of meetings.
So you should have come early. Let's
for
say
those
9
engagements
a.m.
to take place.
Or something.
Because Speaker was actually presiding some of these engagements.
Yeah.
The MPs were not budging. They said no. Right? And the Speaker said, what can I do? The minister is not coming. If the minister is not coming to give the assurance and then give the commitment, what can we do? So that is the first time behind the scenes maneuverings and meetings you will not be privy to.
So it's not the minority which were insisting.
It's not only the minority.
The
minority was
but we've been told that it was reported that the minority were insisting that they are common fund.
That's why I'm giving you the full report.
But definitely.
So take my full report.
Okay, so if the minority says Choboy,
the majority members will say yay, but they will say they yay from outside, so you won't hear. You get it?
Because whatever they do, it will also benefit them.
Exactly.
So, I mean, on the surface, it will look as if they are not involved, but they're actually supporting the action.
And it happens both ways.
Yeah,
I was in parliament when Setekwe came to present budget.
Yeah.
Right? And then the MPP minority then decided to boycott. Right? And that boycott had the oil, the grease, and everything from the majority then. So, in fact, Setekwe had walked into the chamber to deliver the address. And then the minority then said they were boycotting. So, Speaker had to suspend sitting. I remember clearly, Duajaho. In about 2 hours, right, every concerns had been addressed, so to speak. And then sitting resumed. And Setekwe delivered his budget. And so, you go through and realize that before the minority could do what they were doing then, the majority knew what they wanted.
But you see, for me, I think the bigger problem is failure by government to honor statutory payments.
Yeah.
If it needs to be done, it should be done.
Yeah.
But all of this shows
if the minister is going to use his discretion to decide which one I honor, which one I don't honor, then it defeats the whole purpose of classifying certain things as statutory.
But it's showing us that there's no money. There's no money. There's no money.
There's no money.
But we get money for other things.
No, I'm coming on. I don't know. It is the illogical explanation government gives. You know why? The fund itself is money. It's about revenue that's come to government. And the percentage, the constitution says a percentage you go to common fund, a percentage should go here. And that should be automatic.
And that money comes.
That's the point. So what do you mean by there's no money? It's the money that you are supposed to share.
Because there are other things, that have to happen. And so, that is why certain funds which are supposed to use for certain things, some of them are capped.
I get you.
Some of them
government decides to deploy the funds elsewhere. But that ought not to happen.
No, but honor statutory payments first. Like it's a...
but unfortunately, that is the sad state of affairs
so
here. That is what governments have been doing.
Yeah, they actually coughed and sneezed, and all of us caught the cold. Yesterday, we spent hours in parliament.
Yeah.
Times that we were supposed to file our stories, we couldn't file our stories. In fact, media people had actually booked guests in studio discussion, and it had overly dragged
the discussion.
And these are the things that nobody talks about. It's unfair.
At a point, we just had to, end the discussion, at a point and just wait for the finance minister to come. And this is not because if you advertise a time, and some of the guests that we had in the studio yesterday at GH1, they were complaining, about the lack of respect that these people are giving to us, because everybody is waiting on them. And there were people who came to parliament, school children and all of that, who were there in parliament. I mean, were any provisions made for the school children?
The school bus that brought them should have made that provision, not parliament.
The school children, for them to know, but parliament has wasted their time.
Oh, I get it. So they could have gotten up and left.
So parliament should, so parliament should,
Oh no, I agree with you. No parliament. In this case, I'm not holding brief for parliament, but I think that what ought to be done ought to have been done.
So if you've wasted their time, organize some item 13 at least for them.
Oh no, the MPs do that. They all come from constituencies. No school comes to parliament without coming through their MP. So those provisions are made. Trust me, their lunch is virtually richer than yours. by miles.
This is not school feeding.
It's not school feeding. No. This is not school feeding. It's not like some apology. That apology comes for you, and then I'll add an addendum like school feeding. Then people will get some small apology, and then Emmanuel Donko will get some small apology. No, it's not a social media apology that we are talking about. It's not school feeding. This is proper meal, balanced diet in all sense of it.
Anyway, we've got the newspapers, of course. You can
Yes, we
imagine
do.
that a lot of the newspapers are talking about what happened in Parliament yesterday with regards to the presentation of the budget. And today we're also asking you, was there any highlights of the budget for you? Was there any highlights? Were you expecting
Did the
something?
minister touch on the depreciation currency?
Not really. Not. But at least I think the relative stability was touched on. That at least the CD has been relatively
$100
stable.
on the black market is
All right.
15.7.
Wow.
15
0.7.
CDs,
70
pesos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? For $1.
Yeah. Yeah.
For $1, 15 CDs, 70 pesos
Yeah.
for $1. All right. So what's on the Ghanaian Times?
Okay, so 2024 Media Fiscal Policy Review. Government vows to spend within budget, cuts expenditure by 2.1%. We've not made decision on Akosombo Dam spillage yet. VRA allays fears of residents. And security service housing deficit. We will address shortage. President vows after inaugurating 320 housing units for Ghana Police Service. And I heard Dampari saying, what a legacy. Yeah. Media review bereft of ideas, minority, yeah. Atufosin says the address was uninspiring and hopeless. And I engaged the majority leader, Alexander Kwame Nkrumah, afterwards, and he says, no problem. If the budget is empty and is bereft of ideas and it's hopeless, it means that the owner of the budget is equally bereft of ideas and it's a failure, right? And the owner of the budget here, we can extend to mean Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is the head of the economic management team. So Mahama should debate him and expose the bereftness of the ideas, the visionlessness.
Agenda for debate. Agenda for debate.
Oh, yes.
But I don't
That's
think-
not done.
I don't
right?
think the flag bearer of the NDC is going to do
No,
it.
it
Though.
won't
I don't
happen.
think. I don't think it's going
But
to
have
happen.
you seen the IEA statement responding to?
Yeah.
Yeah, they say
Mahama
yes, they've
campaign?
not engaged them, but I
Yeah.
mean, they are not stooges, so to speak, of
Yeah.
the NPP.
But shouldn't the engagement precede the statement?
engagement
Of
should-
course,
Yeah.
the
announcement.
engagement. I mean, because you don't engage them,
Yeah.
you don't fail to engage them and
Yeah.
come and announce that you want to
Yeah,
do
Yeah,
debate
like
and
I think
assume
the
that they
engagement should
will
have
jump.
preceded.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you engage behind the scenes, engage, and when you have, a gentleman's agreement or some sort of MOU
Yeah.
from the people who you'd want to participate in the
Key
debate, then you come out.
stakeholders.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Key stakeholders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1,370 die from drowning annually in Ghana. That's according to a KNUSC report.
Wow.
Wow. At
Wow.
least about 1,370 people die from drowning across the country annually. A research report from the School of Public Health of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUSC, has revealed majority of drowning deaths occur along river bodies. Where else would it occur? So majority of drowning deaths occur along river bodies.
Oh, but it can occur in swimming pools.
No problem. I'm
sea
coming.
and all
No
this.
problem. With significant numbers happening at recreational centers, particularly beaches, pools, and in wells.
Yeah, what
so
you
it's
just
all part
mentioned.
of the river bodies.
Wow.
So I'm saying that you can only drown around river bodies. So the study found out that the worst affected victims
No,
were
there's a
males.
difference between water body and river
Exactly.
body.
I get you.
A river should connect to the sea.
Okay.
A lake doesn't.
Okay.
A swimming pool obviously doesn't.
A
No
lagoon.
problem.
So for
What
for
about
for
a lagoon?
lagoon.
Yes, a lagoon.
A lagoon too has to connect to the sea, but it's stagnant.
It's stagnant. It's not connected.
Yeah.
Lagoon is
It's like I'm
lagoon
there, I'm
is
not there.
sea water. Sea water that failed to go back to the
Yeah,
sea and
so
it's stuck.
it is just there. It's
See,
stagnant.
yeah.
sea
If
water.
you drown, even in Ankara, you know Ankara. If in Ankara, you would drown. Anyway, so but let me give you the
Do you know how to swim?
I can swim to survive. And you asked me the question
How
yesterday.
can I tell you as a story?
Yeah.
You can swim to
You
survive.
can
Yes,
swim.
if-
Is it
if
that
it
you know
becomes-
how to
Is
swim?
it you know how to swim or not? What
Is
is
it
that?
that
I
you
can
know how
swim
to swim or
No
not?
problem. Let's move on.
Okay.
So the study found out that the worst affected victims were males. Why not? We are adventurous. Between the ages of 15 and 35, followed by children, 0 to 5 years, who constitute 40% of drowning deaths in the country, according to the study conducted over a 3-year period, that's 2019 to 2022. Ghanaian males were 4 times likely to drown than females, putting the age-adjusted death rate due to drowning at 4.4 per 100,000 population, way higher than the last published by the WHO data in 2020, which was at 2.4%. A data collection supervisor with the School of Public Health of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Ms. Kara Edu, shared the findings in an exclusive interview with the Ghanaian Times yesterday ahead of this year's World Drowning Prevention Day.
World Drowning Prevention Day.
When is that day?
I think it's
Ahead of
commemorated every July 25.
July
So that's
25. So that's
Today's
that's
24,
Friday.
so tomorrow.
So that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, so we need to be careful. Essentially, is what is being said. You know,
That's
we need
true.
to be aware of these things
Yeah.
because drowning is not a nice way to go.
Yeah.
It's not a nice way to go. And you know, some parents when they take their kids to the swimming pools and all of that to have fun. They should be very watchful because some of them have not been too watchful and their kids have died.
Yeah.
You know, in these pools and all of that.
The
So
pools that are not covered. But you know that these numbers, especially the male ones, right? A chunk of them will not be from the Ashanti region. You know why?
why?
When you are coming from the Ashanti region to Accra, there's one advice that your family. Hold on.
One advice that your family gives to you.
One advice that your family gives you is that never go nearer to the sea.
Don't go near the sea.
Yes, and I don't know whether you've realized this, and I'm sure all listeners from Akumasi will bear testimony to this fact, that I think there's some level of abhorrence for the people from those enclaves because we are not used to the sea. So chances are if you go there and you attempt to swim, you will drown. So you are advised to avoid it. So I think it could take you about 10 years to live in Accra before you dare go closer to the sea.
That statement is factually inaccurate.
No, I'm saying that
because
I'm not saying that they don't
drown.
die. I'm saying a chunk of them are not from the region because we avoid the sea. My brother, why?
But I'm giving
you a breakdown.
No, I can't give me a breakdown. I don't want to conduct the
my
research.
brother.
They said 1,370 out of that figure. How many drowned in the sea? If you're able to give us that figure, then we can either accept or reject your analysis.
You and I know very well that many more people drown in the sea than in the river. It
not-
goes without
I
saying.
know
It's a
statistics.
given. Oh, hey, you go and allow you drown in a river. Then use your house people to.
Oh, but even swimming pool. I mean, what are you
you're
talking
not
about?
getting me.
But you are the same person who said if you
Swimming pool
drown
is
in
deeper than a
Accra,
river. Hey, swimming pool is deeper than a river. Like how could you guys argue over this? You don't know that swimming pool is deeper than a river?
How is the swimming
How
pool
is
deeper
it?
than a river?
But we have four feet swimming pool and everything. All swimming pools don't have the same
River.
depth. No, but every swimming pool doesn't have the same depth. They are different.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Don't worry.
How can you just assume that
so swimming-
the
It's deeper
swimming-
than a
swimming-
river. How many people can dive?
You think every swimming pool is an Olympic swimming pool or what? No. I mean, what are you saying?
There are rivers, there are rivers that are
grades.
deeper than swimming
Exactly.
pools. There are rivers that are deeper than swimming
I've
pools.
actually swum in the river before.
Which river?
Which river? Which
It
river?
depends on the river.
Hold on.
And
I'm
the
giving you.
part- and the
I'm
part
giving
of
you
the river
names
that
too. You guys, why you didn't do social studies in school or something? River Densu, River
I can't tell us
Ayesu.
the story.
I
It
can't
depends
tell
on
us the
even where, at what part of
What
the
part
river
of the
that you
river?
are swimming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are
The level is
different-
not one level
It's
across.
not one level
Hey,
across
what
the
are you
board.
saying?
Let's move on.
Yes.
So that's according to the data. The other headline here is government takes control over parks and gardens lands as cantonments, and that's good news because this is one of the stories, one of the lands that Okujuta Blakwe and Co had been telling us that government had sold. So the Minister for Local Government and Decentralization and Rural Development, Martin Ajay-Mensah, says the ministry has taken full control of the Department of Parks and Gardens land at cantonment in Accra. This assurance comes 2 weeks after the minister told Parliament in an answer to a question that the government was taking steps to reclaim the land from an intruder. The 2.6-acre land had been a subject of litigation between the department and a private real estate developer, a process which has since been struck out by a court in favor of the department. On a working visit to the department on Monday, Mr. Kosa, who is also a member of Parliament for 13 South, said the state will leave no stone unturned to ensure the land in question and all other pieces of land belonging to the department were kept in trust for the people.
Okay,
So
talking about public lands, there's something that the Lands and Natural Resources Minister John Abu Jinapor
yeah.
wants to do, and it makes sense. And
Yeah.
we are waiting for that. He promised to issue a statement. He hasn't done that. I think he made that promise over the weekend.
Yeah.
On another station, and it has to do with public universities.
Yeah.
Government acquires lands, gives it to management of these universities. They enter into a private partnership agreement with,
And they use the land as
developer, and they use it
collateral.
as they please. And
Yeah.
now the directive is that maybe they'll have to seek permission from
Yeah.
the lands ministry before, and
Yeah.
we understand the universities are against it. But look, the land doesn't belong to you.
It doesn't belong to you. It's just been allocated.
You get it.
So if it's for university purposes, then you are at liberty to. But if it's anything other than that, then you have to go through a particular process. On the Daily Dispatch newspaper, the MPP government has spent 9.9 billion Ghana cedis on 5.7 million students since free SHS started in the year 2017, according to the finance minister, as announced yesterday during the media budget presentation. Vote for NPP to sustain free SHS program. That's according to Frank Asiedu Bekwing, Protozwa, MPP parliamentary candidate for the Suhum constituency. These 320 new homes for the police is an excellent legacy, Akufo-Addo. Dampari to Akufo-Addo. So this president has done a lot of housing units for police personnel, or should I say security personnel, since he became, president. I think it's in excess of 1,000, housing units or so.
Yes.
Yeah. So the president for the security agencies, he's done well, for them in terms of providing housing, and he commissioned another 320 new homes. I think this one was at Tesano, right?
Yes.
Police training
Yeah.
school area there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you see the images, very nice one, ultra modern, nice facilities for the police personnel. So yes, the same stories on the Statesman newspaper. 320 housing units for police. Economy is in steady recovery. Growth exceeds expectation. Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam. It's interesting because look at this picture. What does it remind you of?
Okay, so this is
Look
a market departure.
Look at his picture.
No, this is a market departure from the bag, the color and the texture of the bag that Kedu Furiata used.
No, but the picture itself. Look, you just look at it. Does every finance minister have to do this?
Yeah, the cameraman will ask you to pose. So it's that's
No,
it.
you see, it's the same pose Ken Oforiatta used to do.
Yeah, and then that landed is where we go.
But Ken Oforiatta would just be wearing white.
Yeah, but are you saying that is the picture that
So he's
got our
Amin
economy?
Adam has
where-
also raised his bag just like Ken Oforiatta
So
has done.
it's the picture that ruined our economy. Is that what you are saying?
I'm just saying it's peculiar.
Okay, I
You
get
know
it.
that-
But the bag is different. This
Yeah,
one
the
is
bag
black.
is different. Yes,
This one
Ken
is black.
Oforiatta holds a brown
Do you
bag.
know? Do you know Etuomusum?
It's
you know-
black polythene bag.
Okay, it's called Etuomusum.
Yes.
To wait inside of the gun is dark.
Okay.
So it's equivalent to Etuomusum.
Yo. Ibrahim Ahasa. Baumia's credit scoring system is a game changer. That's according to Dr. Bano. So that's the Daily Statesman newspaper. What's
All right.
his Ghana's favorite newspaper say?
The Daily Guide newspaper, Nana commissions 320 police housing units, story on page 3, and Supreme Court affirms BOG's revocation of UniCredit license. You can get the details on page 6 of the Daily Guide. And 9.9 billion cedis spent on free SHS as economy rebounds. The finance minister is making this claim, and NDC destroys posters of Adenta MPP candidate. Otumfor chats with King Charles, come with a beautiful photograph of the Asantehene, Otumfor 82, and Prince Charles. And Tor will work again, Krapa assures. Yeah, these are the lead stories in the Daily Guide.
Okay, the Chronicle this morning. Our finance minister tells Parliament we are living within our means. No need for supplementary funds.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you have additional revenue supply, then of course you can ask for approval to go and spend. If you don't, there's no need asking for approval. Fiti Way family denies allegations of fraud against former MP.
Why are you stammering?
Because it's supposed to be a Gawe, right? Fiti Way.
Fiti Way. It means Fiti is home.
Fiti
Way.
But this one
Way.
doesn't come with just one IO, it's double. So
Fiti Way.
Fiti Way.
Uh-huh.
Fiti Way.
Way.
So Fiti Way. So like Fiti
Fiti's home.
Yeah. Fiti
The Fiti household.
okay.
Yeah.
Fiti Way.
Yeah.
Fiti way.
Yeah.
Family. The
By
nice.
the way it's written, it's Fiti-wee.
Yeah,
the way it's spelled, if you want to go
yeah. So,
But you should know how to pronounce it.
oh,
You
basic
should know how to
again.
pronounce
Once you see Emmanuel Ni or Kain Lai,
it is way.
the former MP, you know that it's
Yeah,
way.
Fiti-wee.
Fitiwe. Fitiwe family denies allegations of fraud against former MP. Yes. And do you have a river in Adan or is it a lake?
There's a river. Yeah,
Is it?
when the Maranatha Enclave,
It
it's a
ends
river.
with the sea.
Yeah, with the
Yes,
sea.
so I'm told that one is very deep.
Mm.
Yes. Sandra is telling me that
That
is very
is
deep.
the Chalecope Enclave where
Yeah.
Castro,
Yeah.
that place is.
Yeah.
Even the
So
tides
it's not a
there
lake,
at
it's
the
actually a
point-
river.
Yeah, it's a river.
Okay. Akufo-Addo commissions 320 new houses for police, and MCE adds Lord Bright SHS for academic excellence. So Proverbs for this morning. The best food and olive oil are stored up in the houses of wise people.
Proverbs what? 21.
21:20.
Okay.
The best food and olive oil are stored in the houses of wise people. But a foolish man eats up everything he has.
Shit.
This one, dear.
This one is shit.
Budget review and then this
Shit.
quotation.
Shit.
Charlie.
Shit. To whom it may concern, who the
Yeah.
cap fits, let them wear it. But of course, we know the chronicle.
But why would I
but this
store-
is what the Bible is saying. This is
Yeah,
the Bible.
but why would I store olive oil
So-
when I can use it for anointing? Oh no, you can't.
I mean-
So that's it for the chronicle this one.
Yo, who is Mbebao? I have to take you to Philadelphia.
Yes, so I buy Soboro.
I have to take you to
I buy
Philadelphia.
Soboro. I buy Soboro.
The Herald newspaper this morning is reporting 307. One constituency, one ambulance skeletons out. How Akumsin's multiple purchase price. Uforiata's $34.9 million US spare parts revealed. Baumia targets India. India's $12 US per smartphone for Ghana. Yes. We've not really talked about that, have we?
Yeah.
The vice president saying that he's going to enable us to buy phones and be paying 1 city, 1 city, 2 city, 2 city.
I like the way the explanation is on credit scoring and not paying 1 city and 2 city. Yesterday, Georgia EC was on GA Today, and he said what the vice president did was to use euphemism. So like you pay small, not necessarily 1 city, 2 city. But then if that's the case, then going forward, the handlers of the vice president and then MPP flag bearer should ask him not to be using such examples.
Because we heard
If you
what
say
he
1
said.
city, you say 1 city.
Yeah, that's what you said,
You
right?
get it. And the people there had 1 city.
But
So you
sometimes
can
you,
say-
need to look at the context within which you are speaking and say, I mean, it may not literally mean that you are going to pay
Once you
1
mention
city.
money, my brother,
And,
you are
and you know
literally
the
meaning
kind of
money.
politics
Yeah.
we do here.
Yeah.
And
But sometimes the politics we
sometimes
do
you know
is-
how ridiculous our politicians can be.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't blur the lines for
Exactly.
us. He should say what he means.
You pay bit
get
by
it?
bit.
Uh-huh.
You,
Bit by
pay
bit.
in installments.
He shouldn't blur the
Higher
lines. He should just
purchase.
say what he
You
means.
know when higher purchase came, teachers were buying refrigerators on higher purchase.
Laptops and all
Yes,
those
on
things.
higher purchase. So yes, it's credit scoring beautiful. Right, but the example, sometimes it takes the conversation away from the relevance.
From the relevance of what you're
Yeah.
actually trying to do.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay. Okay, because it's a mobile phone example, let me
Yeah.
just chip in that. In the West,
Yeah.
the manufacturers actually have that deal with
Yeah.
the MNOs.
Yes.
So that you can go there and
Yeah.
pay.
Yeah.
But here the MNOs actually acquire them
On their own.
put their profits on
On,
top
yeah.
and sell. So it will always be higher here.
See.
It will always be higher here. I mean,
My sisters live in Germany and Belgium. Do you know how much they call it Vertrag?
yeah.
They call it Vertrag. Do you know how much they pay in the end? How much more they pay if they were buying it on credit, which they call Vertrag? Sometimes they pay 2,000 euros more.
but then they are paying it bit by bit.
Exactly.
At the end of
but
every
if you are to
month.
pay it upfront, you're actually saving 2,000 euros.
Yeah.
But you see, it comes.
But it makes
is
it
tied
easy.
To, oh yeah, of course.
It
When
takes
you
a
are
lot of
paying
It
bit
is
by
tied
bit.
to the
Packages.
network.
I mean, sometimes you
So
get
the
data and
network
all
gives
those
you
things.
data package, it gives you call package and everything. So you are unable to what we call decoding here. That's how come when their phones come down here, we have to decode.
We have to decode,
because
yeah.
it is T-Mobile.
They'll tell you an
T-Mobile.
iPhone locked to AT&T.
Exactly.
locked to
T-Mobile.
Yeah,
T-Mobile.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
T-Mobile.
So
It's
basically,
T-Mobile.
yeah.
Yeah, so on the Herald newspaper this morning, still, NPP coalition seeks peace between Abu Ramadan and party financier over demolished properties. Limited investments in Ghana's telecom industry is killing consumers. Assassination attempt on Binduri NPP chair. Party car burned to ashes by masked gunmen. And Baumia targets India CS. I've read that headline. $12 per smartphone for Ghana. Hey, if 12 billion, I mean, say 12 billion. $12. $12.
How much is that in cities?
It's $12.
So that's, let's just say 15 times 12.
If 12,
15.60 or 15.7.
Just calculate. 15.
let's
say to get to 16. So 16 times 12. Let's just say 16 times 12.
if phones were 12 cities,
Yeah.
we'll be
That
happy.
is 192 cities.
So you pay 192 cities per month.
But that's cool, though.
For you.
For you.
Not the ordinary.
That's
the
cool for
people-
the, that's cool for the middle
people-
class.
wait.
I'm talking about the middle class.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
cool for
obviously.
the middle
But
class.
see, the middle class will be able to afford mobile phone.
Yeah.
If you have a country where the middle class will
Hey.
now oh,
Of
come on.
course, this
Can
The
can
things
the-
middle
No,
class will buy now,
but that
there
won't
is
make
no
you
mobile
middle class.
phone. Come
There are
on.
things you should be able to offer.
Then why are you in the middle class? Go back to the down class. What are you doing with us in the middle
Can
class?
the middle class fork out say 8,000 Ghana?
You
cedis?
should be.
That's
That's why we qualify you to be in the middle class.
How much is 8,000?
Hey, then
Then go back.
Then my idea of middle class is the poor people. Because
8,000 cities.
Lantam, go back
Lantam.
to the down
But
class.
the iPhone 12 Pro Max that people are
Exactly.
using, how much do you think they buy them?
the middle, so you should be able, if you're middle class, you
Yes.
should be able to take out.
Otherwise, my brother, you don't join
You
them.
should be able
See,
to take out 10,000
If they call you,
and
if
buy.
they call you that there's
go
an
and
emergency
buy.
at home,
Yeah.
and you need to deposit 10,000. If you don't have that, you don't
You are not
qualify
middle
as
class.
class.
No.
Then-
You should have 10,000 lying
Hey,
down
from
somewhere.
middle class, you are going to upper class. Oh.
Okay, then we are not middle class.
So you go. So let's remain at the down
Nobody's
class.
forcing you.
Nobody's
It's
forcing
not as
you.
if they will tax you.
Yeah.
Special tax for the.
Yeah.
And then some
So
people-
all this while you thought you were middle class.
I thought
Calm
I
down.
was,
Calm
I thought
down.
I was
to our
middle
level.
class.
Descend the staircase. Descend. People are in queue.
I'm not.
Descend so that some of us can climb.
Yes.
I'm not. I'm
So
not-
you are with the working class. If
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
if there's any consolation,
Yeah.
working class is
Working
hand to
class,
mouth.
hand to mouth.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Okay,
working
then
class.
maybe that is why I
they're
am.
also allowed to use the comrade.
Exactly. Yeah.
The working class too. They can
Yeah,
call
you
each
can
other
use
comrade.
comrade.
So
Yes.
then maybe that is why.
And
I
when
am.
they say chobo, you are quick to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
hey.
Me, I thought I was middle class. Okay. Sorry, oh.
And the fact that somebody has also written middle entrance living certificate
That
doesn't make you a middle class.
No.
Sorry,
That one, it makes you
sorry.
old. That's all.
Hey, Sam Abolos.
But you, all this while you were working like middle class,
Mercy
Sifom.
from here. Mercy from.
Apostle,
The
Ubeje.
way I was feeling good about myself, man.
Apostle James.
Hey, please, I'm poor.
I'm gonna put him on. Anyway, so that
It is well, it is
Daily
well.
Post.
Oh
this-
no,
oh, it's
I think
your
with
turn,
I'm with a new Crusading
Okay.
Guide newspaper. What a quality legacy. President commissioned 320 housing units for police, assures continuous investment in security welfare. Please, the new Crusading Guide, the spelling of continuous, change it.
Yeah.
Kids will learn from you.
Yeah, it cannot be continuous.
Yeah. Also, mid-year budget review. Government disburses 5.4 billion cedis for LEAP, school feeding, and NHIS.
They should add common fund.
Oh, don't worry.
No, that one it will go.
And
But-
government-
but no, I think we should have heard something on the allowances for the beneficiaries of the school feeding program. At least if he had
Yeah,
mentioned that they are
yeah.
giving them at least 2 cedi per head,
Yeah.
I'm sure they will have been happy. Yes,
what-
because in spite of these releases, the kids are equally eating carbohydrate without protein.
Yeah, and that is
Some of
equally
them,
dangerous.
the in fact, the quantity of food they are given is appalling. And I've heard the caterers admit that.
There's something they can do.
There's nothing they can do, right? And then the amount is small. They admit it's small. You see, it cannot sustain the children, but what can they do? Yeah, so, yes, let's go beyond the releases and also at least increase the allowance per head.
All right, government pays 12 billion to bondholders, and there's a sad story here. Painful exit. Family fights police over attempts to cover up murder, and they're referring to family of Reverend John Darko. You can get details on page 3 of the new Crusading Guide.
Daily Post is
Yes,
the final
Daily
one I
Post
have.
final one, yes.
Yeah, July 24, 2012, the day the sun refused to shine, as President Atta Mills passes away. And I remember very well that day I was going home.
Yeah.
I didn't.
And it was very cloudy that day.
Very cloudy.
It
I
looks
did-
like across the entire country it was
Very cloudy.
pretty cloudy on that day and gloomy.
I didn't know he was dead.
Yeah.
But incidentally, I was living at Asaliboche then. So the trotro I was in used the 37 road, or 37 to airport. And the place was full of activity. vehicles moving in and out. I go home, and whenever I get home, the first thing I do is to put on my television. And it was then I realized that, what I saw earlier was about
Atta Mills.
the president dying at the 37 military hospital.
I remember I was sitting in the car listening to the radio, and there was a breaking news.
Yeah.
That just came in like that.
Yeah.
What is the breaking news? The president has died. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was crazy, man.
Very.
It was crazy.
Very.
But anyway, the Inside newspaper says
No,
that...
I'm not done. Media budget review scrapped the taxes after forcing to government address concerns of CTAG, CTAG members, so they will call off their strike minority. But then GTEG says they shouldn't be paid, right?
Yeah.
Calls for debate unnecessary. Answer the 170 questions you asked Mr. Atta. Assuming Ketia to Baumia. That is it for the Daily Post.
All right, the Inside newspaper finally. A Blackwell petitions OSP to probe 34.9 million ambulance spare parts scandal. Court sets aside 13,000 Ghana Cedi cost awarded to Zebulon Okujeto, Sevim Dagdelen on historic lies of NATO, and drivers in tears over rising cost of fuel as AG urges low energy tariff in mid-year budget. So that's it for the Inside newspaper. That should do it for the newspaper headlines.
Yeah.
Shall we go online?
Yes, we shall.
Okay.
Shan't we?
Yes, let's go online and find out the stories that are there on starfm.com.gh. Of course, I always tell you that you should be logged on to starfm.com.gh. 2024 media budgets uninspiring, lacks new ideas, as according to the minority. Man 28 allegedly killed in Koforidia. Government to introduce paternity leave and extend paternity leave. Hey, are you in support of paternity leave?
Yes, I think we need to support our women. And we can only do that when we are off, right?
Yeah.
So just as the women will need maternity leave.
The men too need paternity leave.
But use that to support the woman.
Don't use it for other
Chances are men will go take it and then they go out chilling.
Use it for other things.
Yeah, so it's open to abuse. That one is a fact.
Then maybe they have to come and vet and look at your circumstances before.
No,
they
your
grant
wife
you
is
the
to be allowed to
paternity
lodge a complaint. If you take the paternity leave, right,
Yeah.
in there should be a provision that if you use it for any other purpose rather than helping the
your-
household,
then
the wife is allowed to file a complaint
complain.
against you. And your leave will be revoked and added to that of your wife. So you go to your wife's company and work for her.
But paternity leave is a big deal. Right?
Oh, no, it is.
It is.
It is. We need it.
Yeah.
You go to your wife's
it's not-
company.
it shouldn't be
go
just.
to your wife's company and go and work
It
for
shouldn't just.
Ivy.
And even with maternity leave, look, childbirth is not an event.
Yeah.
It's a process. So there should be a system that allow women to have some days off to attend antenatal. There should be a system that allow men some days off to take their wives to the hospital.
Yeah, it's true. It's very,
Because
very
childbirth is not an event. You don't just wake up one day and say, today is the day I'm going to give birth. No.
All right. So that should do it for starfm.com.gh.
Yes.
And that should do it for the newspaper headlines. We've got conversations
Yes.
about the budgets coming up. We'll be engaging some of the stakeholders, Guta and Co.
Yeah.
They had expectations. Have the expectations been met? And what are the takeaways from the budgets? But before that, we also have a very interesting conversation. Ibrahim,
Yes.
you are a parent.
Yes, I am.
How easy?
Thanks for telling the world.
You're a parent of 3 strong boys.
Yes.
How easy is it being a parent, especially in this day and age? When we were growing up, it was a different era, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't the age of, the social media and the mobile phones and all of these things, right?
Yeah.
It's a completely different era that kids are growing up in.
Yeah.
People, you are a
it's-
parent on the way.
Yeah.
What if I have children somewhere and you don't know?
Yeah.
Okay.
He does.
Okay.
And he has his nieces and nephews.
Nephews
as well
and
that he
nephews,
takes
so
care of.
you are
Yeah.
de facto
So he's a practicing parent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, in that case, then I could also be a practicing
Oh
parent.
yeah, you
yeah,
are.
yeah.
I've got many nieces and nephews.
Yeah,
Many
Exactly.
nieces and
Exactly.
nephews.
So we were asking how difficult it is.
Yes.
Yes. I think social media has made it much more difficult, right? The modern gadgets have made it much more difficult. Now, 5-year-olds are asking for mobile phones, and it beats me why a parent.
But should you give your 5-year-old a mobile phone?
They do in the name of giving them tablets, and that is a tablet for studies. See, yes, you can say you install whatever you want to install on it, right?
Okay.
But the chances are things might slip through.
But even nowadays, the tablets and the laptops are actually becoming the parents of children. So
That's
what
the
they
point.
do is that they just leave these
And then they
tablets
learn
and
stuff
they
there.
put their cartoons or whatever in it, and then you just leave the kids there and go and do whatever
The
else
danger
that they
is
want to
that
do.
Yeah.
even if you don't give your children these things,
Yeah.
they have friends, they go to school. So
That's the point.
they will come home and give you the pressure. At the point you get tired.
And then you have to succumb. And
Yeah.
so it's difficult. All you have to do is show them the way, lead by example, and the rest is inshallah and vibes.
And talking about tablets, I need to chip this in because
Yeah.
I realize that a lot of parents want to take their infants
Yeah.
to daycares that have television and everything.
Yeah.
Please, WHO says for kids 2 years
Yeah.
and below, the screen time should be just an hour
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah.
An hour.
Yeah.
Probably don't even give them screen time at all.
Oh no, because sometimes the
When-
kids
when
cry,
they go
they'll,
to
they'll put
the
these funny
nursery
videos and
and
leave the
credit.
They
tablet.
leave them there and then
Yeah.
Why should a
that's what I'm saying.
daycare have a television?
It's
You
somewhere.
get it. But when the kids come home, obviously
Yeah. They
what's
watch
the
television as
2-year-old going to do anyway?
Exactly.
It's
You see, and
television
that is
that-
what, and they
Yeah.
become hooked. I've seen,
Yeah.
videos of kids
Cocoa
who are so
melon
hooked,
and what have you.
who are
So
so
let's take-
hooked to tablets that they can't. I mean, it's like they've become addicted to it. And these are children, they're 6, 7-year-olds. You take the tablet or the phone away from them, and they can't function.
Yeah.
They start to get withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah.
Because of excess use of these gadgets.
I've hidden the phone of my kids. Because you see, the mother got phone, and to them it's game.
Yeah.
It's game, and so I realized that if I ask the mother to take it from them or keep it away, she is very likely going to give it back to them because it takes their pressure from her.
Yeah,
right.
of
So
course.
they are occupied with
Yeah,
something. I hid it, and up until now, eventually I had to. They were thinking they had lost it. Eventually, because of how they were frantically looking for it, I had to tell them, I hid it, and they still don't know where I hid it, and I'm not giving it to them.
No, don't.
You see, these are the things you have to do. If you go by the flow,
If you go with the
You have-
flow, Charlie,
you have no idea.
the kind of children
How-
that you will have.
Exactly.
They say spare the rod and spoil the child.
That's another thing I don't joke with.
Yeah,
See,
don't,
people
don't
say,
spare the rod.
Yeah, go to the corner, stare at the wall. Say, not me. Corner, stare at the wall. Did we stare at any wall? Or did we even have a wall?
And you see, sometimes when you're at a public event and a child misbehaves,
Yes.
and the mother or father struggles to whip
Control.
that child in line,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cringe.
Yeah.
It's
they
telling
can't-
on you.
It's
You
like
get
they
it?
can't do
Yeah,
anything
it's
to the
very
child.
telling
The
on
child
you.
is just
Your child should
displaying
know when you are
and
playing.
misbehaving.
Your child should know when you are getting angry.
Yeah.
And your child should know when to stop and know that
Yeah.
I'm a child and you are the elder.
Those days, some look. I mean, in public, you are doing something. Your mother will just look at you
The
like
look,
this. You will stop
it is the
everything.
look. Like and they have like categories of looks. There's one that you know that if you stop, nothing will happen. There's one that you know that even if you stop, it will still happen.
will still
And
happen.
There's one that if you stop, it will happen, and your father too will come and happen to you. Like
So we're talking about that here on the show today. There is a parenting coach, right? She is a parent coach and a family systems associate practitioner. Joining us in the studio for us to have that conversation here on the Board and Starr. So do stay tuned. When we return, that conversation is coming underway.